Texas Tiger Diggs again, and I thought I would give you my opinion of the Nokta Fors Core at this point. I have had a chance to take it out a few times, a couple of times. It of course arrived on the day before Valentine's Day, and that day was pretty much occupied, and I guess you would understand why that day would be those 2 days, and the Sunday afterward would be pretty much occupied. And so I did get 2 short hunts. One of the hunts you've seen, and you will see the one where I said that first results were impressive. Second results were equally impressive, and I need to really give you an idea of how I measure these things, because it may look a little spooky to you, or less than understandable. But I measure. I mistreat my new detectors. Not physically. I don't hurt them. I don't get them wet. But I take them into the most pounded parts of the parts I have pounded the hardest. So this is what I've done with this machine for these 2 days. Now I'm going to be looking for more virgin areas, looking for new areas where I can actually get out and use it in an environment where I would expect to find more. But I took it to environments where I expected to find virtually nothing. So, you know, I really do like it. Let me switch it on here. You know, pretty noisy in here because I have a lot of EMI and a washing machine going on in the background. But stopping this. So the display, as everybody knows, it's just a little bit in the wrong place. That's just the truth of it. You know, you're going to have to, when you do your pinpointing and you get depth, you almost have to do a look under your arms to kind of motion to see this. So that's a drawback. But that's not a drawback. It's a big deal, because I got something to tell you later. But basically what I want to do is use it in practical environments. And I took it out. I mean, I took it out to the most beaten, dead beaten parks. I took it out to parks where I have lately been coming back with 1 or 2 coins. Those kind of parks. You know, I make up for those 1 or 2 coins sometime by an afternoon or evening hunt. I didn't do it this time. I was going to go out again this evening, but I walked out and there were big horse tear-sized raindrops in my car window. It wasn't actively raining, so I wasn't gonna take it out in the rain. I don't have a cover for it. So what I've got here is I found these particular factors to be good. I have found the reactivity to be pretty good. Maybe along the line somewhat of the Deus. I don't know if it's quite as good as the Deus, but it's pretty doggone good. I did that because I found 2 pennies, and my hunts were penny heavy because I pretty much eliminated all the high conductor targets there. So I took it out and hit a couple of pennies that were basically this far apart, and I could tell by taking it across I had multiple targets. So that's impressive. And that doesn't sell the argument, but that little example was impressive. Also, I have found the VDI to be very, very stable. If you get a coin target that's a reasonable depth, it doesn't jump, or it jumps very little. When I hit an 82, and I was hitting a lot of 82s, these are 82s, they were invariably crusty zincs. You know, I'm sure that would change because there's something else out there that's an 82, I'm sure. But these were invariably crusty zincs when I hit that 82. Every time. It's an 82, this is going to be a crusty zinc. I dig it. When I hit 85s, they were almost invariably either copper pennies or dimes. Like in all detectors, those 2 are very close together. Now I'm going to have to get a larger cross section to see if I can get any differentiation between those 2 sister targets, the copper dime and the copper penny and the clad dime. They're just right there. So that's very good. 90 was I didn't get a lot of really high connectivity, but 90 was the quarter. I'm going to be checking that out more as I move into places where there are going to be more quarters. because like I said, I've beaten these places like a drum. So that's always good. So I like the fact that it's very, very stable. It's not jumpy. Now, I've been using the Safari. The Safari is jumpy as all get out because it's jumpy like its E-Track bigger brother. Now, the E-Track jumps, but it gives the guys who are very experienced with E-Track a good idea of what's underneath the ground. So I'm not bad-mouthing them. That's just that FBS is a little different than a single frequency machine like this. So it's going to jump around because it's reading a lot of information out of the ground. So no criticism there. I'm just saying that this does not jump, or I found very few examples of it jumping around. So that was very good. Depth was reasonable. I didn't get a lot of very deep targets, but these are areas where there probably aren't a lot of very deep targets. So that was understandable. And you know, the structure is good. I had the thing a little bit too high, so it was not comfortable, and it's very difficult to handle unless you have a strap, and I didn't have a strap. But if you guys ever go to a Office Depot or whatever the Staples, whatever the office supply is in your area, get this double-sided Velcro. So I'm just going to make me a strap for that thing, and then it won't be any problem at all. It needs to be strapped down because it is top heavy, but once it's strapped down, there's no problem. I found it no problem swing, just that little issue with I would prefer to have it strapped down just to make it a little bit more comfortable to swing. So that was what I found there. And I do like this coil. You guys know I didn't buy the professional pack with all the coils in it. This coil is a double D coil, and it's a oval or elliptical double D. And I don't know if you can tell from that perspective, but this is smaller. This is a small version of this. It is by no means as big as the Fisher Double D, which is of the same basic shape and contour. It's not as thick, it's not as big, it's not as heavy. So I found this very useful. Since I didn't buy the small coil, I probably will later. I've got a very good, by accident, I didn't know it was going to be exactly this perspective, very good intermediary coil, or what I like to call a compromise coil, if you've seen some of my previous videos. So I've liked that too. I hate these things. I've got them on the V-locks, and I think I mentioned it when I put it together. I hate these bolts and nuts. The nut is in the other room. So I did use a white nylon bolt that I keep around for all my detectors. So that's pretty cool. And so I really got no real complaints. I'm really very, very impressed with it. But I'm going to I'm giving you and showing you this because you know I don't usually show my my finds between hunts. But since this was basically a test, you know, let's just say maybe an hour and a half, an hour and 45-minute hunt in areas that I pounded like the devil, and had gone out with other detectors to come back with 1 or 2 coins, including zincs, maybe 3 including the zinc. So I'm looking at 3, 6. I'm looking at 11 zincs. I'm looking at that's the 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Without looking at the quality of the coins, there's 22 coins in an area where I was probably getting like 7 or 8 coins out in a combination of 2 days. These were not double hunts. These were single short lunch length hunts. 45 minutes, 50 minutes, an hour, but more likely an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes in an area that by tradition was not giving me anything. So I just want to tell you that's basically all I've got. So that's my opinion of the Nokta, and my opinion of the macro racer is we'll have to see. I don't see a lot of difference between this and the macro racer. I looked at the macro racer closely in some of the illustration. It basically has the exact same menu choices that you have here. Of course, it's a much more comfortable profile for detectorists in the States. It's the standard we see in most of the Fishers, etc. You know, the single platform with the LCD screen and the straight pole down to the coil. So that's good as well. In any case, that's all I've got. And you know, oh yeah, ground balancing, very, very easy. This is the easiest to ground balance I've ever had. Now I have not done a lot of manual ground balancing, but the automatic ground balance is great. It confuses you because you have to shake the coil a few times and it shows 90, and you think it's stuck there, but it will eventually ping and then drop down. And it's pretty much in line with the same type of ground balancing I get with the AT Pro, in the same numbers, more or less in that same range. Very, very AT Pro like in the number range. It skews a little higher, a quarter usually in the AT Pro or so forth. 85, 86 showing up as a 90 here. So there's some variation, but it's rock solid, and I really do like it. So that's all I've got to say, and I'm sorry for talking as long as I did, but I think it's a good purchase. You know, and but you guys know I'm going to be taking this out probably for the next 4 or 5 consecutive hunts. You know, I'll also have the Safari around, and I'll also have the Deus. And if I get into an area where I think that they might do better, I will be using those. But I'm going to give this a good, really shake down for the next few days. So you're not going to be seeing much beside this until probably next week. So we'll see how it goes from there. In any case, this is Texas Tiger Digs. I think we got a winner here, and we'll see if it works its way into the top tier of detectors where the Safari has worked its way into, as well as the Deus. The Deus built that higher level, and I still love it as well. Anyway, that's all I've got, and I will talk to you next time. And this consider this a little 2-day roundup there. So you see the number of coins I've got. This is just basically a test. I've got a couple of high conductivity big aluminum items. I did not get many pull tab, not many more than you see there, and I think this is also copper or brass. And oh yeah, that 83s were almost always screw caps. Now I know screw caps are going to be all over the place, but I found a lot of screw caps in that 83 range. Anyway, this is Texas Tiger Digs, and I will talk to you next time.